Hello, everyone. How are you? Uh, Rodrigo, I think you don't have any sound. So,
Oh, sorry. I'm here doing it. I'm doing it again. Sorry. So I'm welcome and hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night across the world. So this is a pleasure to be here. I'm Rodrigo Terra, president of Abra Games, Brazilian Game Developer Association. I'm here with Carolina Caravana, our vice president, and we are here to present you guys a little bit of how the Brazilian development ecosystem works and showcase a little of some great games that have been doing that have been done in these past years and during the pandemic and etc. So it will be a interesting talk here, me and Carol to present you guys. Carol.
hi everyone. It's very good to be here. We love to talk about the association and the ecosystem here in Brazil. Brazil is a great place for you to develop your game and come launch it. And there are a lot of good developers here. So if you're interested in finding out how is the ecosystem and how we are doing things, so stay tuned and keep watching.
Great. So let's start. I'm here. Well, Brazil, as Carol said, Brazil is a huge country, right? So the largest country in Latin America and in South America. It's the first largest market in Latin America for game consuming. And it's the fifth largest mobile market in the world. So mobile gaming is super, and we're gonna see now in a couple of minutes in a very interesting slide about how mobile gaming is the Brazilian territory. We are the 12th largest market in the world actually for gaming consuming. So the first one in Latin America, the development ecosystem, and the 12th in terms of consumption in the world. So there's a lot to do here in the country to be one of the number ones, right? So this is just a brief numbers of how big is Brazil in terms of revenue and in terms of population as well. So if we're thinking about addressing market here in Brazil, definitely this is the best territory to explore, right? So one interesting thing, and Carol can comment, is women here in Brazil are the majority of the players, right?
Yes, for sure. Around the world, this is a trend also, right? So not just in Brazil, as new data keeps getting out, we see this huge wave of actually a shift in the consuming market. So here in Brazil, it's the same. So we have a majority of women playing. It's not just this year; it's around for a couple of years now, and also black women are also in the rise in this consuming market. So it's very good to know. I like that there is this is the case here in Brazil, because we have obviously the majority of the actual population like represented in the consuming market for games. So this is good news for me.
No, for sure, and actually for the whole market, because there's definitely an opportunity to address people from every social class, backgrounds, and you can see that in pandemic during the pandemic, the side effect was 75.8% of Brazilian gamers said who was actually a gamer played more, right? So this is a worldwide number, more or less a worldwide number, but in Brazil has increased a lot, definitely a lot. Some markets like the mobile game has doubled the hours, the consumed hours in gaming, right? To
Sure.
have you guys an idea, we are talking about Brazil as an opportunity. Well, Wildlife, which is the one of the biggest unicorns in gaming, is fundamentally Brazilian, right? So they are here. They started in São Paulo, but they are across the whole Brazil, and there are other offices and studios throughout the world now. And as you guys say, as you guys see, this is part of the world ecosystem. So Brazil gaming development is increasing, and now we have our first representation throughout during or among these great and big players, gaming industry big players, right? um, let's narrow down a little about the Brazilian game industry, right? So, Abra Games is we are in almost all the Brazilian territory. We are not having some states that they are starting the gaming development ecosystem, right? So there are just a few of them, but Abra Games has studios, associated studios throughout the whole of Brazil. So we are now, these numbers changes every day. So we were 106, now we are 109 and growing. So this is definitely the moment and opportunity to tap into our ecosystem in our games. If you are a studio, if you're starting developing, or if you are now getting traction in your game studio, so that's the moment to join Abra Games, because we have a lot of opportunities to give you guys and to connect through the ecosystem. So even here, the Game Jam Plus here, the guys have associated in Abra Games now, because they are now starting growing, and that's why that's what we want to do. So help studios growing in Brazil and outside Brazil as well, in the international market. Um, but we see that now in Brazil has more than 400 development studios, not just the ones that work with intellectual property, right? But always but also studios that works with external development as well. So the outsourcing the game industry called external development, right? We have a mix of studios that's delivering games to the market, international and national market, and games that works with services. And one characteristic here of the ecosystem is that the majority of the studios here works with both services, not just delivering games but also doing services. So we have like a kind of mix here in Brazil, in terms of external development and original IP being made at home and delivered as games to the publishing platforms, right? Just to guys to have an idea in terms of an export. So last year we had remember, last year was the first year of the pandemic, so we were expecting like a decrease at the beginning in terms of numbers, but actually we had an increase, right? So 53.6 million dollars in terms in export last year. So this is a very growth. The industry is growing steady, and some years they are exponentially growing here in Brazil. So in terms of studios being born, and studios being they are growing in terms of revenue, the growing in terms of presence, international and national presence as well. So just to narrow down again a little bit. So capillarity, we are in the majority. We are in all regions of Brazil, almost all the states, right? Not Abra Games, but the studios itself, right? And studios are starting to born in cities that you never heard about, because if you have someone with a smartphone or able to access some gaming device, there will be a gamer. And Brazil has this feeling of they want to game, right? We just need to push a little, right, in terms of giving access to devices, technology, or even content, right? Um, the other the other characteristic here in Brazil, that 19% of the studios export, because it's easy to export, right? When you publish a game, even if you are a three people studio, you can definitely put your game on Steam, and Steam is global, right? Or App Store is global, right? Or Apple Store is global. The Google App Store is global. So if you want to publish globally, you can, even if you are a small studio. So this is a very interesting characteristic that if we're doing games now or starting to do games and starting to do projects that has a game on it, think about exporting it. So what is exporting it, right? You need to think it universally. Your game needs to talk with the, not with just the Brazilian audience, but needs to talk with a more broadened audience, right? In terms of universality of the gameplay, of the story that you were telling, and etc. Right. So universality is an important hint to give to you, well, when you are starting the game development, right? So we have also lots of other sectors that we have gaming, right? Not just entertainment, but so we have health, training, education, and obviously going through innovation as well. So we have studios that just works with virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, and studios that works with cloud gaming now. So we have studios in Brazil that works with the cutting edge technology in terms of gaming, right? In terms of gaming consumption. So let's move forward because I don't want to read slides, right? So we want to comment and hear from you. Why you should be here in Brazil, right? So we're gonna showcase in a brief moment. We're gonna showcase you guys some great games that are being published and being distributed here in Brazil, and especially outside Brazil, that has a lot of press, a lot of presence outside Brazil as well. But why you should be here? Why Brazil is the best place to start a game business now? So a game development business. So market here is the 40. We have 42% of all commerce in Latin America goes through Brazil, right? And we are the 12th largest gaming market in the world. So this is just the first point that may convince you that being here, when I say being here, is opening studio here or co-produce or looking for co-producing a game here in Brazil with Brazilian studios, right? According to Newzoo, 83% of gamers purchase in-game or virtual goods here in Brazil. So the in-game economy is great here. People engage a lot, and if you have a successful game, or if you have an interesting game that has an internal economy, for sure that's an opportunity to be here. And obviously, seeing the projected market of 2.970 million by revenue, it's a number that's super interested me personally, because that's points that Brazil is one of the most fast growing markets in the video game markets in the world. So we're not going back anymore. Even with pandemics and catastrophes and whatever, people want to game and want to game more, right? So that's why we need content. So we need more games being distributed here in Brazil and the territory as well. And just a brief, according to Goldman Sachs, right? The game market globally grew like almost doubled, right, in terms of revenue. Obviously, we had a moment we had they doubled, but obviously new games were impacted by COVID in terms of people going back to homes and trying to set up home offices, and even larger studios, small studios. Everybody was in the same context, right? And according to Google, this number is this is interesting, right? According to Google, the revenue paid to Brazilian developers, specifically to Brazilian developers, in the first half of 2020 was twice that of the same period in 2019. So this is no turning back point, right? So we will not consume less games in 2022. We're going to consume it more, right? Especially mobile gaming. And the Brazilian spendings in application and games was increased by 50%. So this is very, very great this is very great to know. And obviously the projection, let's go through the projections, right? So worldwide projection is increasing 8.7%. This is big. We are talking about gaming industry. Gaming industry is larger than music and television together, right? Sometimes even movie industry goes into that account, and games are more profitable than all them together, right? So projection is to be more like a huge market in 2024. Latin America, especially, 4% of the global market. So we have a lot to do here in the region, in Latin American region, to address the other 96% of the world, to be more present on their as a global market. So we need to work as Latin American countries to definitely increase our distribution and create great games for the international audience, right? Because we have now just 4% of the global market. Let's try to make it bigger, right, in the next years. But Brazil is the biggest among all countries in Latin America. Brazil is the biggest one. And talking about Brazil, this is the projection now has to 12% of growth, and it's steady. So it's not just steady, but this number is growing each year, but it's a steady growth. So we definitely not we are not going back. We are not turning back in any point in terms of consumption, in terms of game development itself. So just a few points, right? The esports segment will be the one with highest annual until 2025. Social casual, it's massive here in Brazil. You guys know all the names of it. So they increased now, definitely they increased the users during these almost 2 years in pandemic, and then we're gonna be uh, someone that started to play doesn't come back to not play anymore. They can play it more, not the I don't know, 10 hours, 8 hours per day they were playing in during the pandemic, but they will not going back. They will not stop playing. So we the acquisition, the user acquisition, the gamers acquisition was forever. So this is amazing. This is something. This is never happened to the gaming industry in all his history throughout the world, and especially in Brazil, right? Um, as I said about mobile gaming, mobile is the biggest platform here in Brazil, right? So we have 1.75 million of revenue coming from the marketing, so 47% of the market, right? Second one is console gaming. Yeah, you know the names as well, and we have PC going just a little backward. With a 556 million in revenue last year. So again, Brazil is the number one in terms of revenue for games in the Latin American region. So this is something, again, this is a reason to start working with Brazilian companies right now, right? Um, we have we had a lot of press about gaming these months, right? This past month, and we are now seeing non-endemic players coming to the ecosystem, right? What I mean about non-endemic going to the ecosystem, it means that a lot of companies that was not looking into the gaming industry now look suited for advertisement industry, for example. They haven't seen the potential of gamings in 3 years or 4 years ago, but now they are going through the direction of communicating directly with the consumers and the gaming industry, and now they are focusing on communicating, advertising, and creating campaigns and etc. for gamers, because gamers being a gamer is cross generational, right? So it's cross generation. So we have gamers with 50 years old, and we have gamers with 5 years old now. So we are now gaming is a cross generational activity, right? In terms of not just entertainment, for other industries as well. So this is something that you need to be in mind, to have in mind, is gaming is not just for young people. Gaming is for everybody now in 2021 and so on. So you can address and create games for 50 plus, 40 plus, 30 plus, for kids and etc. You can think about your audience in a broader way now because it's cross generational, right? Um, and talking about a little about our Abra games here, just we presented that a very summarized picture of how the Brazilian market is and how interesting it is, and what Zabra Game does in this market, right? So Brazil Games is our export program with Apex or Apex, which is the export agency here in Brazil, and this is the Brazil Games is definitely the best door that you can knock to do business in Brazil. So we are specialized in the Brazilian market, and especially how to communicate as an international company to tap into the Brazilian ecosystem, or doing the opposite, how the Brazilian studios can go compete in the global market as well. So Brazil Games has this mission of connecting the Brazilian ecosystem with the international ecosystem. And when I say it's not just studios, but investors, publishers, and other platforms, and etc. Right? So we represent nowadays it's 109 studios and growing. We have the samples of these studios throughout the whole Brazil as well, right? And let me call Carol to explain a little the mission. One of the important missions of Abra Games, which is the diversity.
Yes, sure. Thank you, Rodrigo. It was amazing. So diversity is a big topic, and it's very important to Abra Games. And well as the diversity talk, right? It's a new thing, sort of a new thing, right? in the industry as a whole. But here right now we have this, and as happening around the world, it won't go back to the way it was, right? So since 2018, the diversity board was created, and it's a inside cell for the people in the market, people of the associated companies here at Abra Games, that were not exactly seeing the things getting developed as fast as it could. So we gathered women at the beginning, and shortly after, we developed the concept for a diversity board, not only a women or female board. And right now we talk about how we can expand and explore and the topics of diversity, and get better settlements, get better businesses with diversity-led businesses, and how we can actually move forward with this important topic. Because this whole idea of separating, okay, this is diversity and this is gaming, right? It's not how we see it. It's business. If you want your business to thrive, you're going to have to look for diversity kinds of businesses. And of course, in the diversity, who studies diversity will know that the more diverse your company, the better businesses you're gonna get, and your games will be better, and you'll have more money. So it's a win-win situation for all of us. So we try to get that feeling across the whole association right now. And with that, we have now trying to, well, I am the first vice president woman in the association, and hopefully not the last. But what I mean is we are having progress with the last few years, and this is something that we are going to, well, it's a glass that's broken now. It's not going back. So it's a very important topic for this board right now. So it's if you want to see diversity here in Brazil, if you want to talk about diversity here in Brazil, if you want to talk about the problems we have with that, and how we can solve that, we are open to discuss, and we can obviously well, put you in touch with a lot of different developers here. And if this is a topic that it's close to you, we would like definitely to talk and see everything in our possibility to help out, grow, and keep this moving forward?
Yeah, sure. So this is a very important conversation for us. So if you have, and even if you're starting working with a Brazilian company, or if you want to know about Abra Games diversity initiatives, yeah, get in touch definitely with us. This is a very important subject for us. So definitely we want to hear and to dialogue with. Even if you are from another association, global, or even from other countries, get in touch with us. We want to make it stronger and even stronger here in our country and outside as well. Um, Going further with our institutional partnerships from 2021 to 2023. So it's a new cycle. We have two initiatives. One focusing on the national market in terms of formation, or in terms of um, creating new entrepreneurs in the gaming industry, and the other one is the Brazil Games initiative. So we'll break down a little to the two of them for you now. Carol.
Sure. So we have a partnership with Sebrae, which is a national entity for small businesses, right? They support small businesses, small and medium businesses, and they do it across every sector. So we have now a partnership with them to help specifically the games industry. So this is a very, very important partnership. It's close to our hearts. After long years, we actually started it. So we have a lot of love for this initiative, and well, it's only starting, but how it is going, we think it will help a lot of studios begin, right? So if you have an idea, you go to a game jam, right? You start a game, and with a group that you like to develop games with, but maybe you don't focus on the business. So Sebrae here in Brazil is the institution that you want to go to help you out in this beginning, right? So we are helping them understand the gaming market. So if you want to be a part of this conversation, please come to us, and we will help you out. Also, we have for this partnership, we have an additional partnership with almost every smaller association in the country. I said smaller because they are regional, not because they are actually small, right? So they are local. They usually are also here with Game Jam Plus, so no big deal. Everybody here will be knowing them. So here in the games market, it's very it's usually difficult to get your head start with the companies in the first years. So Sebrae would be the best entity for you to get in touch to help with this beginning. So the first years can be very important for you not to let your company die, okay? So the first infancy of the company, so this would be where you want to get in touch. So you feel free to either get in touch with Abra Games, directly with Sebrae, or with any one of the regional associations. This would be the way for you to be in this program.
Perfect. So we want to empower you guys to start your business in the game industry. So this is a very important and great opportunity to connect, and not and with Abra Games, and with our partners in the regional and the local associations network as well. So this is great. So come and check with us. As soon as you want, right? And talking about not the local market or our national market, let's go to international now and break down a little more. So Abra Games, and as again with the Brazil Games export program, this is a partnership with Abra Games and Apex Brazil, and Abra Games do the managing of the program, but you don't need to be an associate of Abra Games if you want to join the program. So this is a very good opportunity for everybody that wants to start to export. Obviously, going to Abra Games, you have other advantages in terms of networking and connection with other support actions that we do. But Brazil Games is the mission is to strengthen the Brazilian digital games industry and gaining presence and market share throughout the world. So that's the main goal. That's what I want to do. But we don't do just events, right? Brazil Games is a whole more complex program that includes mentoring, training, market access, obviously events, but you can do that doing matchmaking as well with players, publishers, etc. So we have special actions for it, and then we have other actions in investment attraction. So we want to your studio want start growing or keep growing. Doesn't matter what door you want to choose to open. We want to help you out, right? So this is the markets that we usually are present, right? So since 2020, we and all these events were online, so we were there in those events as well, being having the Brazilian presence. But we hope that 2022 and so on, we'll have again the events going physical, right? Not just being virtual, but physical as well, or in a hybrid format, or etc. And we will be there. So these are a few of them. So the biggest and the more important ones we are, and we have a Brazilian delegation always there. So we work with them very close to bring the Brazilian entrepreneurs there, right? And the ecosystem, not just the studios, but the ones that support the studios here in the development ecosystem. Sorry about saying ecosystem too a lot, but it's a word that defines everything that I went to say. But I promise to use that with care now. uh, Participation in the main global market, so that's that again, right? Nordic games we play, and obviously the Latin American ones, right? So we participate not just in well, for us it's important. Latin Americans, it's important, and obviously the other markets are too, but the Latin American ones are also very important for us to be present as well. And I cannot leave without saying that we have our international presence as well here in Brazil, as Abra Games and as Brazil Games, with a very tight partnership with Big Brazil Independent Games Festival, which is the largest and the biggest game industry event here in Latin America, not just in Brazil, but Latin America. Is one of the international events that is on the international roadshow when we're going through gaming industry events. Big is one of them. So just to have an idea, this year, sorry, we have this 7,970 views, right? So 9,009, and I can even say that number in English now because it's so big that the visualization number is that is incredible, right? So we have like views and impressions 2.8 million, 70 hours of content, which it was great. One thing that we learned in the pandemic doing online is we could do it in terms and bring people that don't usually travel, or it's hard to travel to an event to be a speaker. So we had a lot of them now on board, and we could have a more diverse programming for the event. So that was a great learning to Big as well. So these are the numbers of these 2021's Big. Just to have an idea, how was it? So we have in the studio, we have the presenters, and we have them online as well. We had gaming showcases, we have platforms talks, we have investor talks, and we a lot of the conversation was there. Game Jam Plus was given a award as well in the big awards. So it was definitely an event that needs to be on your calendar next year if you want to start doing business with the game industry here in Brazil. And let's go and talk about what the studios are doing here, right? Let's showcase a little of the best that we have here in production here from Brazilian studios here in Brazil. Um the first one, original games and ideas. So I will try to explain. Let's go back a little and let's explain again what we're gonna see now. So we have companies that works with own IP. What that means? That means that the game that has an original IP or they create it in house. But obviously, you can create a game you can create a game with a licensed content, right? So you license from whoever you want an IP and create a game with it. Could be another game IP, could be as we are super we have it in our daily life, which has, I don't know, if you want to license Marvel or other great IP or animation IPs, etc., you can do it. And so this is the licensed IP, but it will be, for example, entertainment game, or it could be you can license or create your own IP in other industry. Maybe you want to license something to create a training game and using a license as well. So we're gonna see this. We're gonna see VR a little bit. XD is the acronym for external development. We have some transmedia projects, and which for me is one of the best ways to approach and to grow intellectual property is doing transmedia and talking about serious games, so games to other industries, and with a more serious, not just entertainment themes, right? So we're gonna see some Brazilian success cases. Carol, you want to start commenting, or can I go?
Sure, I can comment a little bit. We have a lot of traction here for games that they usually have a diversity. As I was saying before, the ecosystem here, the consumer market, it has a lot of passion for diverse games. So if you have any diversity content or diverse development team, and you want to put that in the market of your game, that's a goal for Brazil. So I would advise on that. And Brazilian people in a few events that we talk to, a few developers that we talk to, they say, "Oh, sometimes we have a problem with the marketing because maybe the consumers, they don't like diversity." And actually, here in Brazil, even when the people don't like, they say they don't like it, they will always consume it. So if you have diversity, if it's well made and if it's well put in the game, the Brazilian market is the market for you to launch your game here. So, and if you are a Brazilian developer and you want to do that and you want to go forward with this idea and use that to enhance your game narrative, enhance your game mechanics, gameplay, go for it, because you will be embraced. Usually it's a good fit here in the consumer market in Brazil. So as with that, we have Gravitational. It's a very nice example of how diversity is put in a game in a way that it makes the mechanic better, and it's just really nice. It's a really nice approach. So what? Okay, I thought people were talking to me. So the Gravitational is where is from Electric Monkeys. and it's a VR game, and it was on Big Festival. It was one of the finalists, and it's a VR game about a man in a wheelchair, right? So you go the game, you are seated, and you go with the game mechanics. It's very good game design for this matter. So Horizon Chase is another good example of a Brazilian game that has a little bit of fame outside Brazil, because and when I say a little, I'm very I'm sort of joking, because it was a good success outside Brazil, and it has a few novelties right now coming forward with the presentation, and you have a few other cases. I don't know if Rodrigo, can you please go on with the slides? Yeah, sure. So this, for the ones who are engaged with Senna. I don't know if you know Senna. If you are Brazilian, you definitely will know Senna. And he was a very dear pilot here in Brazil. Everybody loved him, and now he will appear on Horizon Chase. So it's a very good way of putting our culture out in Brazil, and that would be a very good case of how cultural themes can go on games, right? So some people say that maybe games are not a very cultural experiences, and even a entertainment game can be very cultural. So that would be a great example. I'm having a little bit of problem with the presentation. Can you come back? I don't know if we have a more. Yeah, so yeah, like cultural experiences. So Arida and Aritana, they are good examples of how we can put a little bit more of a not urban Brazil in the front. So it's a very, this was what I'm talking about. Diversity here is something that Brazil likes, So if you have a game that is a very good fit with the cultural experience here in Brazil, people will like it. And also, as if you know more of a publisher market, you know that people like this kind of cultural experiences outside Brazil too. So if you want to export Brazilian culture, you can definitely go for it, because would be a very good fit also. Okay, next. So same, Dandara is a very good game, received a lot of awards, and Rony Queen was a very good, very interesting case here in Brazil. He won the Big Diversity on Big 2019, I believe, and he was made alongside with the native Brazilians. So it is a massive, immersive experience. I eager you to try to play it if you can. It's a very good immersive experience for the native Brazilian culture. So I think we have a lot of other games. I'll put them on the screen so we can see the questions now, I believe. Okay. So we have a lot of space to grow. So I would advise to go talk to one of the entities I said before, either Abra Games or also Sebrae, or any regional association or game collective that you might have in your state. So that would be the first thing so you can actually get the benefits of all the projects that are happening right now. The regional associations have their own projects with local entities. But if you want to export, I would definitely tell you, come talk to us. But the independent game industry here in Brazil usually starts with the own IPs, right? So they usually start trying to actually entertainment also. So big would be a good event to go. And you start talking to publishers. As soon as you have a demo, as soon as you have a pitch. So that'll be a great way to start. And there are a lot of possibilities for publishers, for small studios to publish. It's very easier right now, as it was 5 or even 10 years before. So right now it's easier. It's not actually that easy, but it's possible that you do it by yourself. So you have to go to the events and talk to the people. So if you want to help, you can come to us. Do we have more questions? So on the screen, we have now other kinds of games that are being developed by the companies that are on the Brazil Games program. And we have a lot of different types of games, right? We have educational games, we have simulation, we have for games for the industry, not only gaming industry. I believe Rodrigo has a problem right now. Maybe he won't be able to come back. So I believe I will end the presentation myself. But if you have any questions, you can bring it now. So okay, please go to the yes, come to Abra Games. You can put on the contact information, I believe. If you can, yes, this is the new board. This is the executive for the export program, Eliana Russi. She's our main contact you have to get in touch with in order to be a part of Brazil Games export program. And well, I'm sorry for this. I'm sorry for this hectic ending, but you know, this is Brazil, and this is fun. So we improvise. We do improvise. Okay, if you don't have any questions anymore, I'm going to just say it is a pleasure to always have a conversation and see what we can do to help out anything that you need, even if you're beginning in the gaming industry, if you are someone from outside Brazil that wants to know how the gaming industry here works. We have the data. We are gathering more data as we speak, and we can help you out even if you don't know what you're looking for. Okay, so just come talk to us and we can make business.
You are invited for the next edition of Game Jam Plus.
É criar o próximo grande jogo indie I'd like to invite my fellow flyover states and the rest of the world to come jam with us.
Mi nombre es Brian Hernández de Cartago, Costa Rica. Patos de Minas, Minas Gerais.
Calgary, Canada.
Goiás.
São Luís,
Iran.
Liga Sul de Minas,
Portugal.
Brasília, México, Salvador,
Maquedônia.
Uberaba, Minas Gerais.
San José, Costa Rica.
Uberlândia,
La Paz, Bolívia.
Manaus, Amazonas,
United States Midwest.
Atlanta, Eslovênia.
Engenheiro Paulo Frontin.
Game Jam Plus. O que é Game Jam Plus?
En donde desarrolladores, músicos, artistas podrán crear su propio juego con un enfoque de negocios.
Participants from all around the world come together.
É o local onde suas ideias tomam forma.
Y me complace mucho invitarlos a este gran evento.
I feel thrilled and blessed to have such an opportunity to be a part of this.
And I want you to unlock this achievement too.
Que es un evento internacional que va a tomar lugar del 8 al 10 de octubre.
From October 8th to 10th.
Entre el 8 y el 10 de octubre.
Dias 8 ao dia 10 de outubro.
This October, from the 8th to the 10th.
Dia 8 ao dia 10 de outubro.
Quiero invitarlos a formar parte de esta gran comunidad internacional.
It's going to be an incredible opportunity to make some games, meet some amazing people.
Espero haber más personas de todo el mundo participando de este gran evento.
Hope to see you there.
Participa, be our plus one.
Would you be our plus one?
Visita Nashout plus 1.
Be a plus one.
Будете мой плюс N.
Be our plus one.
Be our plus one.
Be our plus one.
Be our plus one.
Join us, be our plus one. Be our plus one.